It's time for the April 2025 release of Home Assistant with new features, updates, and all that good stuff. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about a new experimental dashboard that they've added here in this version of Home Assistant. Now, this new dashboard is based on areas. So if you haven't set up any areas in your Home Assistant instance or haven't added your entities to areas, this isn't going to work as well for you. To do this new dashboard or use it, all you do is click on Add Dashboard over here, and you'll notice a new Areas Experimental section down here. This is what you will choose to create a new Areas dashboard. So Areas, YouTube Demo, and you can either show it in the sidebar or not and make it admin or whatever. It's normal dashboard stuff. So we're going to click on Create here, and we're going to see that it created an Areas YT demo. And you can actually give it an icon. I'm just going to pick some random thing here for whatever reason. And there's my icon. And I'm going to click on Open over here. Now, what you're going to notice is that this dashboard has already been audio populated with all kinds of stuff. First thing is along the top here, you'll see all of the different areas you have within your Home Assistant instance. And you have all of those listed down here with anything that's in that particular area. And if you click on any of the areas, so let's click on front entry, for example, you're going to get a new page or a sub page that shows you the items that in that. So we have lights, security, and some other things. You can go to any of the areas by clicking on these areas up here, or you can go back to the main area by clicking here. And this is all of your areas nicely put within this dashboard. Now I've cleaned this up a bit because I have a lot of missing stuff in my dev instance. So I'm going to go back over here to my area test dashboard, and we've cleaned up a lot of the things that were in there and also fixed some of the icons. So if I click on backyard again, I get the same view as before. I have fewer items up here. I do want to show you one thing. Let's go back to this demo. And let's say that I want to not show some of these areas. You can click on the little pencil icon up here, and you can turn off specific areas. So I don't have it downstairs anymore in this house. I don't have it upstairs in this house. So I'll get rid of both of those. I have laundry and laundry room. Let's get rid of laundry because it's a duplicate. Let's turn that one off. Let's turn that one off. And then let's turn, let's leave that for now. Then we click on Save. And now you notice that I've gotten rid of a bunch of things, a bunch of areas on the dashboard. I can also go in here and I can specifically modify areas. I have a bunch of camera images here that aren't working, so I'm going to get rid of those. So I go to Outside Front, and I can specifically get rid of all of those from that particular area. And I have another one here. I'll get rid of that as well. So I click on Save. And now on the outside front, I only have two items here, the driveway and the front porch lights. Those are the only two things that are in that particular area. So you can clean things up very well that way. You can go into an area as well and edit it directly from here. Now you're going to get the same pop-up page. So you still have to drill down. I'm in the laundry room. So I want to go into the laundry room. And I want to get rid of that temp range, and I want to get rid of the RGB lights, so I don't have those in there. So I just have the washing machine now in the laundry room. Going back here to the main page, that's what you have in the laundry room. Now I want to mention some comments that Home Assistant has made on the blog about this, just stating that this is experimental. They realize that everyone wants to organize things their own special way. So they're going to work on combining some of the different dashboard experiences into a default dashboard. They want to be able to have you create a dashboard or start up a Home Assistant instance and have a dashboard auto-created with the most relevant things organized the most beneficial way or valuable way to you. And they're going to start working on combining some of that as noted in here. This foundation will grow into a flexible system that adapts to your priorities, whether you're worried about security, energy usage, family calendar, chores, or whatever. Remember, again, this is experimental. It may change, may not work as intended. They welcome feedback, so they do have a feedback form on the blog. So make sure you use the feedback form if you have any thoughts about the dashboard so they can continue to improve on those. And that'll about cover the dashboard part. A really nice addition to auto-populating stuff. And it does, as I mentioned before, kind of force you into putting things into areas. I've been very lazy about that because I didn't have a real value for that or a need to do that. Now I do in this and other areas of Home Assistant where, for example, I've mentioned before where you say turn on the lights in a specific room. If you have your lights set to areas, then it will automatically know which areas you're in. If you have a voice assistant in a room and say turn on the lights, it will turn on the lights in the room you're in. So it's important to start putting things in areas so that it can take advantage, or you can take advantage of these new features that Home Assistant is releasing based on improvements to the areas and the area functionality. Also in this release, Home Assistant has added a new card. It is a very simple card. Drum roll, please. I will show you the card right now. This is going to be a clock card. And that's all it does is tells the time. It is a card for telling time. Apparently some people want it. I do use a clock card or a clock date card or whatever from Hacks, but this is nice because it's built in and uses all the functionality for formatting and visibility that you would get natively out of the box. But here it is, clock sizes. You can change the font from small to medium to large. You can also change the format. So you can use the auto language based settings. You can use system locale settings. You can choose AM, PM, or 24-hour time. And then you can also choose your time zone. You decide you want to have seconds displayed next to the clock. There it is right there. It is counting up the seconds. You can give it a title. The time is, and there it is, save it on here. And now we have a clock card on this page. Now you can also change the layout of the clock card just like you can any other card. Not that one. How about this? There we go. You can make it full width. You can make it bigger. If you change the font size to large, you can have a really big clock card right here on your page. So there it is, the clock card. No dazzle smazzle about it. It's just a clock card, but a very important one for some of us that use Home Assistant for your wall boards, dashboards, that kind of thing. Let's talk about bringing back a device from a backup. If you've watched some of the videos in the past that I've done on the backups, you'll know that Home Assistant now allows you to back up at least one of the backup sets that you have into the Home Assistant cloud if you're using the Nabu Casa subscription. Now, if you're doing that, then you'll be able to start up a Home Assistant instance using the cloud backup rather than having to start it up and then restoring it. This is just another feature improvement from the installation, and this is from their blog again. You can restore a backup of your Home Assistant installation as part of your subscription, which we talked about. You can go in here and take from the new smart home setup page. You can actually go in here and create or restore from your Home Assistant cloud backup. So if you get into Home Assistant and you're setting your Home Assistant instant up because you had some sort of failure, now you can go in there and create your instance directly from the backup instead of from having to download it and get it or do some other function. This gives you an easy way to create that new Home Assistant instance or repair directly from the backup file that you have already put into the Home Assistant cloud. Makes having that backup offsite in their Nabu Casa cloud or Home Assistant cloud a very valuable tool to use in case of a catastrophic failure of your Home Assistant instance. Easy way to back it up. I recommend backing up your Home Assistant instance to the Nabu Casa cloud to be able to take advantage of these features. Next up is a new wizard if you're installing something like the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition, which is this device right here. This is their Voice PE. I happen to have one. I already have it installed in my Home Assistant production instance, and I've played around with trying to get it to show me the new wizard, but it's not doing it because I already installed it. My understanding is that you can do that, but I'm just going to show you the images that they have on the blog for now and kind of talk about them briefly. The way this works is you now have a much better wizard explaining what the choices you make due to your Home Assistant processing power for voice control kind of thing. So if you look at this right here, you can see that if you are using English or Ingles, whatever this language is on their example, and you're doing Home Assistant Cloud, your performance is going to be high, and all your commands that you're going to use are going to be fully supported. Now remember, when you're doing Home Assistant local voice control through their voice assistant devices or Home Assistant satellites, you're going to have different experiences based on the language that you are speaking, because different models have better support or don't have as good a support as others do. So with the English model, based on using the Home Assistant Cloud as the processing back engine, you're going to have high performance with everything fully supported. If you click on something like focused local processing, this is going to be a limited set of commands. These are common home control phrases. So you can assign or process speech locally and offline. What you get with this, and you'll see the language selected here is Dutch. If you are on a low-powered system, your performance is going to be good because you're using phrases, not using the full local processing as you see over here. Now, the supported commands is what changes based on the language here. This processing model will change slightly based on the language that you're using, but mostly the supported commands are what's going to be affected by which model you use. If you do fully local processing, which is what this says right here, full speech processing is done locally, requiring high processing power for adequate speed and recovery, you're going to see the performance depending on your system. If you have a super powered system with lots of horsepower, memory, compute, everything else, you're going to be able to do high performance on that device. If you're running a very low powered, a Pi or whatever, which probably isn't even recommended for some of the local processing, your performance is going to be down on the low end, and your supported commands may be up there, but your processing power is going to be very, very slow and delayed. Anyway, the point of that is the wizard helps you make a decision. Do you want to go with fully local? Do you want to go with phrase-based focus processing locally? Do you want to use the Home Assistant Cloud for all your processing? You're going to get different performance from that. You're also going to get a different set of supported commands depending on what language you choose and what are those models you choose. So it's a nice way for you to jump in and figure out which model, which way you want to go with your voice processing for your voice satellite stuff. All right, this final piece is going to combine two of the new updates in Home Assistant into one piece here. One is about starting conversations. Actually, one is about continued conversations with LLMs. So if you're using an LLM and you have a voice assistant like this one, you're going to be able to have a conversation without saying the wake word every time you want to talk to the device. You basically have a conversation. So I'll show you that in here in a second. You can also have it start a conversation based on an action. So I created a simple thing here wherein the game room lamp has been left on for 15 seconds. Obviously, this is not real world, but it is an example. What I want to do is I want to start a conversation from a satellite, and that's going to be my Home Assistant voice device right here. And I gave it a simple message. The game room lamp was left on. Do you want to turn it off? Now, this ability was made available in a previous release. You could call your analog phone line or whatever with this, but now it's available within the voice satellite stuff. So I'm going to do a demonstration now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to do this in multiple steps here. So I'm going to go over to my dashboard and I'm going to turn on the game room lamp. And you'll be able to see and hear this response. So let me turn on the game room lamp here. Now it's going to have to come on for 15 seconds or run for 15 seconds. And if I was smart, I would have made it shorter for the video, but we'll wait 15 seconds and you'll see what happens on the voice satellite. And we're going to have a conversation.
The game room lamp was left on. Do you want me to turn it off?
Yes, please.
Okay. I've turned off the game room lamp.
All right, so that's an example of something that was triggered by a state change on my lamp. So here's another example of a very basic conversation with a device. This time I'm going to initiate it myself to the satellite versus having it triggered. Okay, Nabu. Set a timer, please.
For how long?
I would like a timer for 15 seconds, please.
Okay. I've started a 15-second timer.
And there you go. So basically, I just told the satellite to do something. And instead of me having to say the wake word again to respond back to it, it then went and did what I asked it to do. So that's release 2025.4, so the April release for 2025 of Home Assistant. Hit any questions down in the description and all that stuff. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.